hands down, back a little straighter. At the professor's direction, I offered my body to his gaze. This was the first time I had ever bared myself for art, submitting to a man's scrutiny. His eyes were like bottomless pits, pulling me in, devouring me. You're a masterpiece. The art studio filled with his praise, and the scratchy sound of his pencil on paper. Every stroke felt like it was being drawn directly on my heart. An unbearable, delicious itch. My name is Lorelei Monroe. I'm a freshman at the prestigious Northwood Academy of Fine Arts. During freshman orientation, my tall frame and innocent face had already earned me the title of campus queen. Everyone saw me as some untouchable goddess. No one knew that beneath my icy exterior lay a smoldering fire waiting to be ignited. The number of guys chasing me was absurd, but I never gave them a second glance, because the one I wanted was my professor, Julian Croft. He was the youngest professor in the academy, devastatingly handsome and quietly intense. Too bad he was already off the market, snapped up way too young. From what I heard, I'd often overhear the other girls talking about him. He's every girl's dream, but he married such an old, plain woman. He's a total saint. They were all complaining from the sidelines, but I was different. I made a silent vow. He would be mine. I heard plenty of girls have confessed to him, but he just gives them the cold shoulder. A sly smile touched my lips. The harder the challenge, the more excited I became. It was the only way to prove my own allure. The boys on campus were all clumsy amateurs. How could they possibly compare to a man with his depth and maturity? So many times in class I'd watch his focused expression and drift into daydreams, imagining it was just the two of us in the room. He was famous for his realistic figure drawings. Most of his award-winning pieces were of female bodies of all ages. I was certain he was a man who appreciated beauty. Otherwise, his hands could never create such magic, making every woman on his campus radiate a unique charm. To get his attention, I started making a point of not wearing a bra to his class. Today, I decided to be late. I ran to the classroom door, my eyes meeting his just as I stopped. As I gasped for air, my chest heaved, the thin fabric of my top doing little to hide my figure. Beads of sweat traced paths down my collarbones, disappearing into the neckline of my shirt. The thin fabric clung to my skin, hinting at the curves beneath, an invitation I knew he couldn't ignore. I didn't need a mirror to know how seductive I looked right now. I refused to believe he felt nothing. Sure enough, I saw his Adam's apple bob, but he quickly looked down again. You're late, miss. Please find a seat. He gestured towards the back of the room, but I had other plans. I grabbed a spare stool and placed it right next to his lectern. When he glanced down, he got an accidental, perfect view of my deep cleavage. He adjusted his gold-rimmed glasses, clearing his throat to mask his discomfort. What are you doing sitting here? A playful smile spread across my face. My gaze, wet and intense, locked onto his. I pitched my voice to a delicate, pleading tone. Professor, I have trouble hearing from far away. Please. I pressed my palms together, bowing slightly. My breast swayed with the movement, a deliberate, tantalizing display. I looked pitiful, but my intention was aggressive. He didn't say anything more. He just sighed and continued his lecture. For the rest of the class, he deliberately avoided looking at me. I knew he was fighting it, and fighting hard. My gaze was a net, trapping him, drowning him in a silent, shimmering lake of suggestion. I was sure he didn't hate it. He was enjoying it. I knew because the tips of his ears were bright red. After class, I pretended to pack my things, dragging it out until we were the only two left in the classroom. Slowly, I stood up and walked toward him. For a married man, he was as shy as a teenage boy. He still didn't dare to look me in the eye. I tugged my collar down a little lower, then accidentally dropped my box of paints on the floor. The entire set scattered, and a splash of color hit me near my eye. I let out a sharp cry that got a reaction. He